more in the coming days. Based on the reports, he's narrowing his search to a handful of teams. Reports are that Harbs is doing due diligence on vacancies with young franchise quarterbacks. John Harbaugh's agent, Brian Harlan, told ESPN's Adam Schefter that in the first 45 minutes after Harbaugh was fired on Tuesday, Harlan received calls from 7 NFL teams expressing interest in his client, and at least one of those teams had a head coach that was still in place. Harbaugh, 63, ranks 12th for most wins by a head coach in NFL history with 193 and has guided the Ravens to a Super Bowl title in 2012. In leading the Ravens for 18 seasons, Harbs was the second longest active coach in the league behind Mike Tomlin. He's the only coach in NFL history to win a playoff game in each of his first five seasons. Harbs is also the only coach to guide a team to the AFC Championship game in three of his first 5 seasons. That's the good. The other side of the game is that Harbs hasn't won multiple playoff games since the Super Bowl run in 2012. Harbs is a proven program builder that hasn't had top-end success in a while. He might be this generation's version of Mike Holmgren, a great floor raiser, but not the coach to put you over the top. He's the coach before the coach. So the question I have to you all is, what team is the best fit for a coach of that ilk?
Ooh, the coach before the coach.
You just put a negative spin on John Harbaugh. I want to make sure I'm understanding this properly. Is that what you just did?
I don't think it's a negative.
I think it is if you're telling me, let's just say the Green Bay Packers are open, just for argument's sake.
Because that's where a lot of connectivity is coming.
You're saying don't hire him, because that's not the coach before the coach. Matt LaFleur is the coach before the coach in that spot.
Yeah.
So you would not hire John Harbaugh if you're the Green Bay Packers?
I don't know that John Harbaugh is the coach that's going to put you over the top right now in today's NFL. Remember, the NFL is a very different world in 2025, 2026 than it was in 2012 when he won a championship.
Right.
It's a very different world. It's a very different game.
And a very different set of athletes in the locker room, too.
No doubt about it. In personality, style, this generation of athlete is a lot different than guys from yesteryear. These athletes want to have a lot more input. They want to have a lot more say. They want to have a lot more influence on what happens in their careers, i.e. what happens in terms of being able to outline a path for team success. So yeah. I'm not saying that Harbaugh can't have success. I'm not saying that he can't guide a team to the championship rounds. What I am saying is that he's the coach that is a proven floor raiser. Mike Holmgren, the show, hell of a coach. Green Bay and Seattle only won 1 championship, though. Remember, so he got Seattle to the big game, and they lost to Pittsburgh, but he got them there.
Yeah.
I guess my whole point is this. If you want somebody that's a floor raiser, somebody that can get the most out of your people, for the most part, in terms of regular season success, and give you a chance to get to the playoffs consistently, and maybe even win a playoff game, John Harbaugh is your guy. But if you're looking for somebody to take you over the top, like what happened with John Gruden after the Tampa Bay Bucks got rid of Tony Dungy, I don't know that John Harbaugh is that.
So then is the Browns the right answer to your question that you posed? No?
I don't think so.
Why? Because they could certainly use some stability.
I don't think John Harbaugh wants to go to the Browns.
I think the Titans are the right answer based on that category. If that's the question under that category that I'm answering, the answer would be the Titans.
I love that. I love that fit.
Why wouldn't you go with someone who has more of an offensive mind that you know could work with Cam Ward?
I don't care about an offensive mind if I have he's all 3 phase coach. He'll figure that part out. He'll be fine. Look at Lamar. He helped make him into an MVP. Now Lamar helped make John Harbaugh into an MVP winning coach, so to speak.
But John Harbaugh already won a Super Bowl before Lamar got there.
So right. I think under your premise, under your category of here's where I'd like you to place John Harbaugh, the best answer to that question would then be Tennessee. I just don't know if I agree with the premise. I need to think about it more. It's a very interesting premise, and it's one I have not heard someone bring up yet.
Next,
number 1.
Matt LaFleur to discuss the future of the team with President Ed Policy on Monday. Ev, can you get your tree hat on?
Oh
please?
My gosh! Again?
Okay.
Again?
Well, we have a lot to talk about here.
All right.
So.
So coming off of an 18-point collapse to a division rival in the playoffs, LaFleur is in the crosshairs of the criticism toward the Pack. LaFleur is entering the final year of his contract, and the head coach declined to answer whether or not he would accept coaching as a lame duck in 2026. Now, the relationship between LaFleur and Packers team president Ed Policy has been characterized as positive and supportive. But 3 blown double-digit second-half leads to the Bears in the last 5 weeks that resulted in 2 losses to go along with the franchise having 3 straight playoff losses for the first time in team history is a tough sell for an organization to stay the course. 79-46-1 is LaFleur's record with no Super Bowl appearances and essentially having the highest paid quarterback in the league in the entirety of his tenure. Something has got to give. Now, again, they've played the Green Bay Packers 3 times in the last 5 weeks. That's 185 minutes of game time if you factor in the overtime as well. The Chicago Bears have led for a grand total of 1 minute and 43 seconds and have 2 wins. If that ain't coaching, I don't know what is.
Say that again? That is unbelievable.
The Green Bay Packers have played the Chicago Bears 3 times in the last 5 weeks.
Yes.
185 minutes of game time when you include the overtime in the second game. The Chicago Bears have led for a grand total of 1 minute and 43 seconds across those 3 games.
1-4-3. Love it.
That is sickening.
How do you sell?
Sickening.
How do you sell to your fans that that's the right coach to win us a championship with Jordan Love as our quarterback?
Answer that question, Smalls, about your team. Coming up next.
Oh,
Great little
please.
cheese right there. I feel like I'd be remiss if I continue to go on throughout the show and not give a shout out to the good doctors and nurses at Lenox Hill Hospital that helped my wife and I deliver our son into this world this past Wednesday. Shout out to y'all. Y'all did a phenomenal job, but let's not get it twisted. My wife, Mel, is still the real MVP.
That's right.
Oh,
I mean, 8 pounds, 12 ounces.
No.
Natural delivery. Incredible. Incredible.
She's
But anyway,
amazing.
we got a lot to get to, so without further ado, Pat Costello, let's get to it.
Number 3.
It's Curt Cignetti's world. The rest of the college football is just living in it. And what will be the most expensive national championship game tickets in recent memory? Can the, quote, home team actually make it a game? Or will it be more of the same domination we've seen from the Hoosiers this season? Indiana joined 2023 Michigan as the only team in the Big Ten to win the first 15 games of the season. Indiana has outscored opponents by 473 points this year, which ties the 2019 Clemson Tigers for the most entering the national championship game in CFP history. The plus 473 point differential would be the second highest point margin in a season by any team in the AP poll era, only trailing 2013 Florida State. Indiana's win over Oregon was its 3rd this season against an AP top 5 opponent, and Heisman Trophy winner Fernando Mendoza has been on fire. 5 touchdown passes against Oregon and 3 against Alabama. So I have to ask the question, the Miami Hurricanes, potentially banged up, a little shorthanded on the defensive side of the ball, can the Miami Hurricanes actually make this a game against the Indiana Hoosiers?
No doubt. Absolutely they can. And I think they will. Indiana's a 7.5-point favorite per DraftKings Sportsbook. I think they will. I understand that Indiana's 15-0. I understand they likely have the number 1 pick. They have the Heisman Trophy winner. They have the best coach going right now in college football, as you just mentioned with Cignetti. But Miami has risen to every single opponent and every single challenge this year since that SMU game that they lost. I think that Miami absolutely can. The storylines are overwhelming. I mean, just going through it this weekend, the fact that Mendoza's dad was Mario Cristobal's high school teammate. His mom played tennis at the U. He grew up, obviously people know this I think by now. If not, they grew up in Miami and he wanted to go to Miami, but Manny Diaz, who was the coach then, was not interested in him at the time. And the storylines are overwhelming. Miami has absolutely met every challenge. Why would they not meet this one?
So does that mean that you believe in Carson Beck to get the job done?
Man, hell no. Can't be.
What's the job in this case? To throw 3 touchdowns, like outplay Mendoza? No.
Well, you know Indiana's going to put up some points. Can he match that output? Can he and the Canes offense match that output?
Yeah. Malachi Tony, where are you? Here, take the ball. That's the output. That's how you put out points. Just give him the ball. He's that good.
I will say this, Mesidor getting hurt from Miami was huge in terms of what happened in the second half and that Ole Miss offense potentially making a go of that game. That was big. So
and Xavier Lucas is suspended for the first half because of the targeting call. So I mean, I don't know, man. I'm worried about Miami's ability to be able to slow down that Indiana offense. And it's not as if we haven't seen Fernando Mendoza get knocked around and still come out aces in a game. Remember the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State? Mm-hmm. I mean, all of those guys, Avril Reese, Kenyatta Jackson, those guys were beating the hell out of him, and yet he still kept going, and he still kept making throws. This is not a quarterback that you're going to intimidate. And if Miami can't intimidate him because he's so good and because Kirk Cignetti is so good from an X's and O's standpoint, I just don't think that this is going to be quite the same in terms of that defense being able to put their imprint on the national championship game. Oregon on Friday night would like to imagine it never happened. Brought to you by ServPro, the #1 choice in cleanup and restoration.
What did I say about Oregon when they played against Texas Tech? Too much sloppy ball handling from Dante Moore.
Same thing.
Same thing popped up again in this game against Indiana. That just can't happen. That boy need to go back.